My little brother vanished 20 years ago, and I knew where he was. The whole time. People love clean stories. A child disappears. A neighborhood panics. Posters go up. Cops search the woods. Someone says they saw a van. Then time passes, and the world moves on. But our house didn't. Our house kept listening. Because sometimes, when a kid goes missing, they don't leave footprints outside. Sometimes, they leave them inside. And if you live there, you'd know. I'm telling you this now because I can't sleep anymore. Not after what I found in my parents' attic last month. A box. A cheap plastic box. A label in my mom's handwriting. Do not open, Eli. My brother's name. My throat went dry the moment I saw it. Because the last time I heard that name out loud was the day he disappeared. And the last time I heard it in the house was last week. My name is Mason. 20 years ago, I was 16. My little brother, Eli, was 7. He was the kind of kid who made you feel older just by being near him. Like you had a job. Watch him. Walk him home. Let him play, but don't let him bother you. He didn't bother me. He followed me like I was gravity. That summer, our street had a game. A stupid game kids invented because adults weren't paying attention. It was called the quiet house. You had to hide somewhere inside your own home. Not moving, not making a sound. Until the finder gave up. Eli loved it. Eli was small and fearless. He could disappear into spaces you didn't even notice. And that's the first thing you should understand. Eli didn't go missing outside. Eli went missing in the only place he trusted. Home. I remember the day like a video that won't pause. My mom left for a shift at the hospital. My dad was working late. It was just me, Eli, and the house. A house that was too quiet even before anything happened. Eli asked if we could play. I said no. Then I said yes. Because it was easier than hearing him ask again. We played 3 rounds. First round, I hid behind the shower curtain. Eli found me instantly, laughing like he'd solved a crime. Second round, he hid under the kitchen table. I pretended I couldn't find him. He giggled so hard he gave himself away. Third round, I was tired. I told him, hide somewhere good. Somewhere I'll never find you. He smiled, like those were magic words. Then he ran down the hallway, bare feet slapping the wood, and he disappeared. I counted out loud. Slow. Dramatic. Because that's what you do when you're trying to be a good brother. 20, 21, 22. When I reached 60, I started searching. I checked the obvious places. Closets. Under beds. Behind the couch. Eli, I called. Okay, I'm looking for real now. Nothing. I tried again louder. Still nothing. And that's when the house did something I didn't notice until years later. The refrigerator clicked. The air vent in the hallway sighed. And somewhere close, I heard a small sound, like a fingernail tapping wood. Once. Then silence. I didn't think anything of it. Because I didn't want to. Because I was 16. And the only thing scarier than a missing kid is the idea that it could be your fault. After 10 minutes, I stopped laughing. After 15, I started sweating. After 20, my hands were shaking so hard. I couldn't turn a doorknob the first time. I checked every room again. Slower. More desperate. Eli, stop. Eli, seriously. Eli, you're going to get in trouble. Nothing. Then I went into my parents' bedroom and opened the closet. It smelled like perfume and old coats. It was dark and deep. Eli loved darkness because he thought it meant secret worlds. I moved hangers. I dropped to my knees. I looked behind shoeboxes, and I found something that made my stomach drop. The closet floor was wrong. A rectangle of wood inside the wood, like a door in the floor. A thin seam. A small metal ring, folded flat. A hatch. I stared at it. I knew it was there. That's the secret part. I'd found it 2 weeks earlier by accident, when I was looking for a Christmas present my mom hid. I opened it then, just enough to see darkness and dust. A crawl space beneath the house. I closed it and didn't tell anyone. Because sometimes, you find something in your home that makes your home feel less like yours. So when Eli disappeared and I saw that hatch, I didn't open it. I stood there, staring, and I thought, no, he wouldn't. Then I heard that small tapping again. From below. It wasn't a knock. It was careful, like someone trying not to be heard. I bent down, my face inches from the seam. Eli, I whispered. The tapping stopped. And then, so soft I barely heard it, a voice from below. Mason. It was Eli. It was him. Alive. right there, under my feet. I grabbed the metal ring. I started to pull, and then I froze. Because the hatch didn't lift like a door. It flexed like it was stuck to something. Like it hadn't been opened in a long time. Like it didn't want to open at all. I pulled harder. It rose maybe half an inch, and a smell came out. Not rot, not anything like that. Just cold dirt. Old wood. A sour, closed-up air that didn't belong in a normal house. Eli whispered again. Mason, it's dark. My chest tightened. I'm getting you, I said. I tried again. The hatch lifted another inch. And then something pushed back from below. Not Eli. Something heavier, like a hand on the other side pressing up. And a second voice whispered from the dark. Don't. I let go so fast the hatch slammed shut. I backed away, heart pounding. My brain tried to rewrite what I'd heard. A pipe, a mouse, my own fear. But the whisper had been clear. Don't. Then, like the house decided to prove a point, the hallway vent sighed again. Longer, almost like breathing. I stood there, staring at the closet floor, waiting for Eli to knock again. He did. Please, he whispered. I don't know why I didn't open it. I wish I could give you a noble reason. But the truth is uglier. I was afraid. Not just of what was under there. Afraid of what my life would become the second I pulled that hatch all the way open. Because then it wouldn't be a game anymore. Then it would be real. And real things have consequences. So I did the worst thing. I stepped out of the closet. I shut the closet door. And I told myself I'd come back in 1 minute. Just 1 minute. To think. To breathe. To figure out how to explain it. 1 minute. That was my second lie. I ran through the house calling his name. I opened cabinets like he could be inside them. I checked behind curtains, inside laundry baskets. Like if I looked everywhere else first, the hatch would stop existing. But the tapping stayed in my head. I ran outside. I searched the yard, the street, the neighbor's porch. I yelled. The neighborhood didn't care at first. It was a normal day. Kids rode bikes. Sprinklers clicked. Someone's dog barked at nothing. Then my voice cracked. Then I screamed his name the way you do when you realize you're not in control anymore. People came out. Questions. Confusion. Where's your brother? When did you see him last? Did he run away? I lied. I said, he was playing outside. I said, I only looked away for a second. Because if I said, he's under our house, I would have to explain the hatch. And if I explained the hatch, I would have to explain why I didn't open it immediately. And if I explained that, I would become the villain in my own story. So I kept lying, and the neighborhood helped me. The police arrived before my parents did. 2 cars. Lights off. Serious faces. They asked questions I couldn't answer. I watched them walk through my house like strangers. The same hallway, the same doors, the same air. One officer went to my parents' bedroom closet. I felt my whole body go cold. He opened it. He looked inside. He shined a flashlight around. But he didn't look down. He didn't see the hatch. Because the rug covered most of it. Because the seam was thin. Because nobody expects a child to vanish through the floor. He closed the closet. And the worst thing happened. He said, nothing in here. Nothing. Eli was right there. And I said nothing. That's the third lie. That night, my mom came home screaming his name. My dad tore through the house like he could break walls with his hands. Neighbors searched the woods, the creek, the empty lot. Police searched for footprints. They didn't search the crawl space because they didn't know it existed. Because I didn't tell them. Because I was still trying to keep my life intact in the middle of someone else's disaster. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at my ceiling, listening for the smallest sound. The house settled. Wood popped. Pipes clicked. Every normal sound felt like a message. At 2:11 a.m., I heard tapping. From inside the walls. Not from the closet. From the hallway vent. Then Eli's whisper, so faint it felt like a memory. Mason. I sat up so fast my chest hurt. I walked into the hallway. The vent was dark. Dusty. Still. I put my ear against it. And I heard breathing on the other side. Not a child's breathing. Something slower. Something patient. Then the same second voice from before, soft and close. Too late. I stumbled back. I didn't sleep again until sunrise. In the morning, the tapping stopped. And I told myself that meant, I don't know. I told myself it meant he got out. That's what you tell yourself when the alternative is you. The search lasted weeks, then months, then years. Eli's face lived on posters, on news segments, on the side of milk cartons. People stopped asking questions after a while, not because they didn't care, but because they couldn't carry it forever. My parents never stopped. My mom kept a light on in the hallway every night, like the dark would make him disappear again. My dad installed new locks, new alarms, new cameras, as if Eli had been taken by a stranger, as if the danger had come from outside. I left for college. I didn't come home much. When I did, the house felt different. Smaller, heavier, like it was holding its breath. Sometimes, late at night, I'd hear 2 taps. From inside the walls. Always 2, never 3. Like a code. Like someone practicing patience. I never told anyone. Not my parents. Not the police. Not the therapists my mom begged me to see. Because how do you confess something without destroying everything you have left? So I did what guilty people do. I built a new life. And I pretended the past was finished. But the past doesn't finish. It waits. Last month, I went back to help my parents move. They were selling the house. Finally, after 20 years, my mom's hair had gone gray in the exact place she used to tuck Eli's face in when he fell asleep. My dad moved slower. Like grief had weight. I went into the attic to grab old boxes. That's where I found the plastic bin. Do not open, Eli. My hands shook so hard I almost dropped it through the attic hatch. I carried it down like it might explode. In my parents' kitchen, I set it on the table. My mom's eyes filled instantly. My dad stared like he couldn't focus. What is that? My mom whispered. I said the only thing I could. I don't know. Another lie. But my voice sounded wrong even to me. My dad reached for the tape. My mom grabbed his wrist. Not yet, she said. Her voice was small, like she was 7 again too. They left the box on the table and walked away. Because sometimes the scariest thing is proof. That night, after they went to bed, I went back downstairs. The house was quiet, but not empty quiet. Listening quiet. I stood over the box. My fingers peeled the tape. Slow. Too slow. The lid popped open. Inside was an old handheld tape recorder, a mini cassette, a folded paper, and a plastic bag with something small inside. I unfolded the paper. It was a police evidence receipt, dated 2 days after Eli went missing. Description: found under bedroom floor. My mouth went dry. Found under bedroom floor. That meant someone had known. Someone had looked. Or something had moved. I picked up the tape recorder. The cassette was already inside. My thumb hovered over play. And then the house did it again. 2 taps. From inside the wall behind me. I didn't turn around. I pressed play. At first, nothing. Then a child's breathing. Fast. Scared. A whisper. Mom. Dad. Another whisper, quieter. Mason. Then a long pause. Then the sound of scratching. Wood. Drywall. Something small trying to be heard. Then a second voice. Not mine. Not my dad's. Not any adult I recognized. Soft. Close. Patient. Say it again. The voice whispered. Eli sniffed. I'm Eli. Good. The voice said. Say where you are. Eli hesitated. I'm under the closet. The voice hummed like it was pleased. Good. It whispered. Now say it like you mean it. Eli tried again, voice shaking. I'm under the closet. And then my voice. 16-year-old me. Breathless. Close. Right over the hatch. I'm getting you, I said. Then the tape captured something that made my blood turn cold. A sound like the hatch lifting. A tiny squeak. Eli's relief. And then my voice again, different now. Not breathless. Not scared. Flat. Cold. A voice I didn't recognize as mine until I did. Okay, I said quietly. Now be quiet. Then the second voice whispered, please. That's it. And the hatch slammed shut. Eli began to cry. Then 2 taps. From inside the wood. And my own voice, calm as a stranger. Stop knocking. Silence. Then the tape ended. I stood in my parents' kitchen shaking. The tape recorder still in my hand. My whole life collapsing into one ugly truth. I didn't leave him for 1 minute. I left him because I thought he'd learned his lesson. Because I was angry he hid too well. Because I wanted to scare him back into obedience. And when the second voice whispered, don't, from the dark, I listened. Not to Eli. To it. Because part of me wanted the problem to disappear. And 20 years later, in the quiet of the house, I finally understood what that second voice was. Not a man outside, not a stranger. It was the house learning my voice, practicing it, wearing it, waiting for someone else to believe it. 2 taps from inside the wall behind me. Then a whisper, soft and familiar. Mason. And the last thing the tape recorder played, without me touching it, was my own 16-year-old voice, calm and confident, saying, "It's okay. You can open the door now." My little brother vanished 20 years ago, and I knew where he was the whole time.